Sweetbriar Nature Center is a 501c3 nonprofit located in Smithtown, New York. We teach natural science programs to schools, libraries, scouts, and the public daily. Sweetbriar is also a wildlife rehabilitation center, and we care for thousands of animals every year. The center is located along the beautiful Nessequag River and is home to over 70 permanent, non-releasable animals. There are hiking trails, gardens, fields, a historic barn, and a butterfly vivarium for our visitors to enjoy. We want to thank you for supporting the center and enjoying nature with us. Today, we're going to play kind of a game where I read a riddle and you're going to guess what it is. But here's the thing, if you're playing with other kids or your siblings, I want you to be really quiet till the last word of the riddle. Most of the last words of the riddle are the animal name. But I want you to keep it to yourself, and then at the end, we'll say it together. So let's think about one that we can do together. Let's try a practice one. I wag my tail as I run. I like to fetch sticks for fun. Run out the door, jump over a log. I bark and bark, for I am a dog. To see me at home, to a farm you must go. I have feathers, a beak, and wings you should know. I peck for my food as I strut through the yard, and I lay many eggs with shells that are hard. If you asked me why I crossed the road, I would cluck and cluck as if I knowed. So if you don't know by now, the clock is a-tickin'. Whether I'm a rooster or a hen, I'm still called a chicken. All right, this here is Campbell, and he's a chicken. He's also called a rooster. You can see by his really bright feathers, and he has something up here called a comb. And when we check out his feet in just a moment, you'll see he has a sharp spur. If you check out right here, he has spurs, and he uses those against anything that tries to attack him. It's the way he protects himself and his hens. So chickens, like all birds, lay hard-shelled eggs. They have feathers, and not all birds can fly, but chickens can fly a little bit. Normally, you would hear these guys go, cock-a-doodle-doo, but he's not gonna do it. He's a little camera shy. Only the rooster makes that noise. All right, so I'm gonna do this animal interview from inside the house because some animals you'll be meeting today might be a little cold outside. So you may hear our very, very loud parrots in the background. Don't worry, we'll meet them later. So let's get started. I am the first reptile you will meet today. I move really slowly as I go on my way. I eat earthworms, leaves, and berries for a snack. You guys like earthworms? Delicious. And I carry a strong and tough home on my back. When I am scared by some hungry critter that's near, I hide in my shell so there's nothing to fear. I take time to get around every hurdle. Some call me a tortoise, others a box turtle. That's right, I'm going to introduce you to one of our box turtles. So this critter here is an eastern box turtle. These are very, very common on Long Island. I want you to think about why this might be called a box turtle. Does he look like the box you get in the mail when you get a delivery from Amazon? No. Do you think he lives in a box? No. There's a different reason he's called a box turtle. I want you to take a look at his shell. We'll put him in front of the light here. He has a really special shell. When he is scared by a hungry critter that's near, he can take his arms, his legs, his head and his little tail, and he could put it into a shell and close it up like a box. If you look right here on his belly, there's a hinge. Now, we open and close doors on their hinge or cabinets on their hinge, and he can open and close his shell on that hinge. So let's see if we can get him to do it. I don't think he's going to do it. He's so used to me holding him, he's not going to close up his shell. So next, I want you to take a look at his claws. He's got these really cool claws. Now, do you think he lives in the water or on land? Take a look at those claws. It'll give you a hint. He's a terrestrial turtle. That means he lives on the land. So if you hold your hand up like this and take a look at your hand, do you have any webs between your fingers? No. You also live on the land. If he had webs between his toes, he would probably be a water turtle. But he's not. He likes to dig in the dirt. He lives on the land. Now these guys love to eat worms. They love to eat wild strawberries, grasses, and different fruits that they might find outside. So where do you think you would find one of these turtles? You wouldn't find him on the beach. You'd find him walking around in the woods or in a field, right? Where those things grow. Right, now I want you to check out the amazing colors on this box turtle. Kind of put him down here for just a moment. So let's see, he has some yellow, he has some orange, some brown, and check out those eyes. Let's see if we can see those eyes. He has these beautiful red eyes. And that helps him to camouflage. So if I just told you he lives in the woods, he walks around on the ground, what do you think he camouflages into? He camouflages or blends into the leaves, right? So in the fall, red leaves, yellow leaves, brown leaves, orange leaves, they fall down from the trees and they land on the ground, and this type of turtle climbs underneath those leaves and he goes to sleep for the winter. Let me introduce you to some of the critters that are going to be talking over my presentation. This here is Peaches. She's a little nervous with the camera. And then we have Elliot here, who's super excited. Hello. Hello. And then we have this very talkative Amazon parrot. His name is Spike. All right, you ready for another animal? I think you guys could get this one too. Many people are scared by my looks, and I'm the bad guy in many kids' books. But I'm misunderstood and cool as can be, whether slithering on the ground or up in a tree. I have no legs or arms to help me out. I use my whole body to slither about. I smell with my tongue, and with my body I hear. So when I'm hungry, small critters, you better stay clear. I'm quick as a cat when I am awake. I coil and strike, for I am a snake. This here is Pearl. She's a corn snake. And as you can see, corn snakes come in all different colors. You may have never seen a corn snake this color before. They come in red and yellow, they come in gray, and then Pearl here is kind of a whitish pink color. Why do you think they call them corn snakes? Do you think that she eats corn? Nope, she's a carnivore. She only eats small mammals, maybe large insects, maybe a lizard if she can find one, or a frog. She doesn't like to eat corn. She likes to eat something that eats corn, mice. So corn farmers would find these types of snakes in their fields. They kind of range from all the way down in Florida all the way up to New Jersey. Live here on Long Island. They're considered pets. They're actually a really, really nice pet to have. They're pretty nice. They don't have any venom or anything like that. In fact, most snakes don't. These guys are constrictors. So when they find their food, they squeeze it and suffocate it, and then they eat it whole. imagine a mouse fitting into the body of this snake? Doesn't look like it would work, right? Let me tell you something special he can do with his jaw to fit a mouse in there. So I want you guys to open up your mouth like really wide. Ah. Now open it up wider. Ah. You can't really open it up that wide, right? And I want you to take your finger, feel on the side of your mouth where your top jaw meets your bottom jaw. Now he can open his mouth really wide like this, like we can, and then he can unhinge his jaw and open it all the way up like this. So this over here, he can unhinge it, open his mouth all the way, and eat his food whole. That's how he fits a mouse into that little tiny mouth. Now if you check out that little tiny mouth, he's doing something. He's sticking his tongue out at you. Do you think he's being rude? No, he's not being rude. He's trying to smell you. Even out there in your computer, he's trying to smell what you are from right here. And he wants to know if you're a mammal, if you're a reptile, or if you're just a tree. He needs to use that tongue to identify what he's smelling. Now, he doesn't have great eyesight or super good hearing, so he uses something else to hear besides ears. He actually doesn't really have any ears. He uses his body to hear if something is coming along. So if you were to stomp your feet through a path in the forest, he would hear you with the vibrations that your feet are making through his body, and he would be long gone before you got to him on a trail. Pearl here is going to go back into her cage in just a moment. I want to talk to you about why she likes to hang out on my hand. She doesn't really like me, even though I really like her. She's using me for my warmth. She's cold-blooded and I am warm-blooded. So think about if you were to go outside in the middle of winter and you weren't wearing a coat, what would your body do? You'd shiver, right? And that shivering would create energy, which would create heat, and you'd warm your body up. She can't do that. And she's cold. She has to find something warm to go on, or she has to find a nice sunny spot or a nice sunny rock to hang out on. Now, what does she do if she's too hot? If you're too hot, like if you're running around on the playground in the summertime, you sweat, right? Whew, you sweat, water comes out of your skin, and that cools you down. She can't do that. When she's too hot, she has to get out of the sun and under the dirt and try to cool off. She's cold-blooded. She's at the mercy of the temperature around her. Where we are warm-blooded, we can create our own heat and we can cool ourselves off. I eat dandelions, grass, and lots of clover, and I'm always alert for foxes and hawks that fly over. I have big ears, long whiskers, and a wiggly nose, and thick fur from my head to my toes. I like to hop around as a habit. You can call me a bunny rabbit. All right, so this here is Blueberry, and she's a bunny rabbit. Now she's a domesticated rabbit. She's not the same kind that you would see outside. So Blueberry here has really long ears. Now her ears flop down because she's a domesticated rabbit, but normally rabbits' ears would face up just like this, so they can hear their predators when they approach. They also have really big eyes. Take a look at her eyes. And she uses those eyes to see predators. She has to stay on alert all the time. When a predator approaches a rabbit, the rabbit freezes and hopefully will camouflage or blend into its surroundings. If freezing doesn't work and they're spotted, they'll run in a zigzag pattern and confuse their predators. So if you take a look here, she has this white little tail, and that's the same as our cottontail rabbits we have here on Long Island. And those little tails confuse the predators when they run in a zigzag pattern. Now, if you look at her, she has thick fur from her head to her toes, and that's to keep her warm during the cold season. Also, if she were to have babies, she would build her nest in the ground. Rabbits dig a hole in the ground, they line it with grass, and then they pull out some of their own hair to create a nice soft bed for their babies. So rabbits are mammals just like us. They have hair, they're warm-blooded, and they make milk for their babies. Remember, mammal mothers make milk. All right, are you ready to move on to our next riddle? All right, this one might be a little hard, but I think you guys can get it if you really think about it. 6 legs and exoskeleton help make me a bug. Probably not an animal that you would like to hug. The country of Madagascar is where I am found. When scared by predators, out comes a hissing sound. Under dead leaves, my friends and I hang out, eating dead plant stuff we find all about. I hide with my colors of black, brown, and red. I'm a hissing cockroach from abdomen to head. This here is Maddie, and she's a Madagascar hissing cockroach. So if you look at her, she is an insect. She has 6 legs, so she has 3 on each side. She has 3 body parts. She has these cool antennae that are kind of waving around, trying to sense where she is. And she has an exoskeleton on the outside of her body. And that exoskeleton kind of feels like your fingernail if you were to pet her. But there's something really special that this little creature does. And I'll see if I can make her do it. I don't think she's going to do it. When she is afraid or thinks a predator is nearby, she hisses. So it kind of sounds like this. Tss, tss, tss. And that sound is really loud, and it would scare away any predator that might come by and think that she's a good snack, right? There's something else she does that's really, really special. She eats dead stuff. She's a decomposer. So she eats things, and then they travel through her body, and they come out on the other side as new soil. Without her, there'd just be dead stuff all over the place, right? We don't have Madagascar hissing cockroaches here, but we do have wood roaches. We have different types of roaches that are in our forests breaking down different dead things, right? Leaves and sticks and maybe animals. And those guys kind of clean up the forest floor. So for this next animal, I brought you outside because this animal lives here at Sweetbriar outside in its enclosure. We want to keep its habitat as close as we can to where it would live in the wild. So, are you ready? Might be a little hard to guess this one. Let's see. When the sun is up, I rest all day. At night, I awake to hunt my prey. My hearing is great and my eyes see in the night. My wings are special, so I am quiet in flight. I am not a bat or a moth or any waterfowl. People think I'm wise, for I am an owl. This here is Pumpkin, and Pumpkin is an eastern screech owl. And eastern screech owls, along with other owls, are birds of prey. You can see by his talons right here, he's a really great hunter. What he does is he finds his prey, maybe a mouse, maybe a large moth, maybe a small reptile. He finds it with his ears first, then his eyes, then he dives down and he grabs it with his talons. And that's what he uses to hunt his food. So you won't find birds of prey eating seeds or nuts or berries. They're carnivores, they just eat meat. Now I wanted to mention that he is very common here on Long Island. And there's a reason that you don't see him that often. So you can see from me holding him, he's really small. That's one of the reasons why you don't see them that often. But the other reason is he has amazing camouflage, or he has the ability to blend into his surroundings so well that you can't see him when he's sleeping during the day. These things up here, they're called his tufts. They help kind of break up his design up in the trees, and you can't spot him at all. He's also the same color as oak leaves in the fall, right? He's this orangey color. These birds actually come in two different colors. They come in this color and they come in kind of a darker brown, grayish color as well. Now you can hear the sounds he's making. They're not happy sounds. They're not the normal sounds that a screech owl would make. Screech owls make more of a chattering sound, like a boop, 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 boop sound. One more thing I wanted to tell you about with him is I want to talk to you about his eyes. And all owls have these special eyes. They can see really, really far away. But I get the question quite often, the question of, can an owl turn their head all the way around? And nope, they can't do that. Their head would fall off. But they can turn their head to look all the way behind them to about 270 degrees. Now, if you turn your head, keeping your shoulders straight, you turn your head to one side and then the other side, you have about 180 degrees of range with your head. But if you needed to see behind you, you could turn your head, you could turn your torso, and you can turn your eyes and look behind you. He can't do that. His eyes are fixed in one spot on his head, so he does not have that ability to really look around with his eyeballs. Plus, he hunts at night. He's nocturnal. If he were to move his whole body around to see behind him, his prey would hear him, right? Now, if you just saw, he flapped his wings, and you didn't really hear it. You heard other things around. He has silent feathers, right? And that's in order to keep him really quiet when he's hunting at night. He's really a beautiful, amazing creature.